My name is Nora May. The title of my project is Debate versus De-Brawn. Buongiorno. You know, perhaps you could help me with something. You see, I am a renowned artist and have been commissioned to create a sculpture depicting the main leader of the Risorgimento, or in other words, the human driving force of the unification of Italy. For those of you who don't know what it is, the Risorgimento, or the unification of Italy, was Italy's transition from being many small city-states and kingdoms fought over by the Austro-Hungarians and the French in the north, with constant disputes against the papal powers in central Italy, and the Spanish, the British, the French, and many others fighting over the south, to Italy's being united as one country under a sole government. This process was completed through a series of wars, many battles, and quite a bit of debate and diplomacy. But the real question here is whether it was the renowned Prime Minister, Count Camillo Benso di Cavour of the Kingdom of Piedmont-Sardinia, or the famous war hero, Giuseppe Garibaldi, and who really did the most to unify Italy. Well, I must say, you should definitely choose me. Prime Minister Count Camillo Benso di Cavour of the Kingdom of Piedmont-Sardinia. That's me. You see, even before the last war that ended Austrian rule and consolidated Italy, I was the main participant in the cabinet. And before that, when King Charles Albert granted more freedom of the press, it was I who started a newspaper called Il Risorgimento, advocating for the first war against the Austrians. When this didn't work out so well because the Austrians were overpowering us, it was I who, with great tact and diplomacy, negotiated a peace treaty with the Austrians and saved the Kingdom of Piedmont-Sardinia from certain disaster. After this, I was elected to very many high government positions, even reaching the role of Prime Minister. In that department, after winning very many favorable treaties with France, Belgium, and England, I proceeded to enact the greatest possible amount of free trade, a diplomatic triumph for the Italian people. But you see, I was just getting started. My next amazing feat was by far the pinnacle of the Risorgimento. All Italians for generations to come would know my name and what I had done to unify Italy. You see, after a series of heated debates, I finally won the support of Napoleon III, and together we agreed on launching another war against the Austrians the following year, with France's help. This proved to be quite ingenious on my part, seeing as though in the Franco-Austrian War, the French and the Austrians were evenly matched, proving my brilliance in recruiting them. Well, in 1860, after temporarily resigning from office, I annexed the Central Duchies, giving Nice and Savoy to our allies, the French. And there you have it, folks. Master of diplomacy, practically the creator of debate. And if you chose me, you would certainly win something in the National History Day contest. That is all very well, my friend, but allow me to introduce just a few of the daring exploits of myself, the amazing Giuseppe Garibaldi, the war hero. You see, after returning from banishment in Peru, I offered my services, as well as those of 60 other men, to the king and the pope. I wanted to help fight for the Risorgimento. Unfortunately, they both declined my help, and after dealings with the Austrians, I retreated outnumbered to Switzerland. There, I became elected deputy of the Roman Assembly. In the assembly, with great tact and diplomacy, I proposed that Rome become an independent republic. The Roman Assembly was positively blown away by my brilliant idea, if I do say so myself. Well, they're all vanished into thin air when I lost the battle at Velletri and was banished to Peru for another 5 years. I would show them. In 1859, I led the Cacciatori dei Alpi, or the Hunters of the Alps, to conquer Varese and Como, 2 major victories. But I was just getting started. My next feat was by far the bright spot in the Risorgimento. All Italians for generations to come would know the name of the famous Giuseppe Garibaldi, the unified Italy. And here is a song telling of my glory. Allarmi, allarmi, sopra le tombe si levano i morti, i martiri nostri son tutti risorti, le spade nel pugno, gli aiori alle chiam, la fiamma del nome d'Italia sul cuor. As I was saying, in April of 1860, I stood ready with a ragtag army of 1,000 men, on the brink of conquering both Sicily and Naples. This would unify all of Italy. After overthrowing the Bourbon king of Naples and uniting the south and the north, we proceeded to enter Sicily, land of sea, sky, wind, and rude civilians. There, I proclaimed myself dictator under the name of King Victor Emmanuel. And with the Sicilians' help, we won the battles of Calatafimi and Milazzo, putting all of Sicily, except for Messina, under our control. With that done, we headed to Naples, where I proclaimed myself dictator, once again. But the people of Naples would put up a hard fight, and the Battle of the River Volturno was the bloodiest battle I had seen in a while. Fortunately, my exceptional military skills prevailed, and Italy was finally united, the south and the north, and the east and the west, thanks to me, amazing Giuseppe Garibaldi. Well, thank you to our unexpected guest for visiting us through this strange picture of mine. But before I conclude and decide who to sculpt, let me clarify some questions that you may be asking yourself. What happened after this? Did everyone just go home and crawl back into bed after having successfully unified Italy? Well, no. After his amazing debut in Sicily and Naples, Giuseppe Garibaldi was regarded as a war hero in most of Europe and as far away as the United States. But at home, he and Cavour were constantly butting heads, Cavour being the defendant of law and order and Garibaldi being the spirit of rebellion. And then there was the question of where should the capital be? Cavour advocated adamantly that it be in Rome and the church and the state be separate, until our dear Prime Minister died, having successfully unified Italy. Oh, she would go on to face many such struggles, ranging from the church to bandits, to blood feuds, and most of all, land ownership. But though Italy would face many problems, she would stand tall, and most of all, united, thanks to the brave souls that fought for the Risorgimento, like Giuseppe Garibaldi and Cavour. Well, Garibaldi's great military skills allowed him to conquer Sicily and Naples, and his overall wisdom and bravery allowed the Kingdom of Piedmont-Sardinia to conquer all of Italy. So I guess I'll go with him. Everyone likes a sculpture of a man on a horse. Well, if I'm to finish it in diplomatic punctuality, I'd better get to work.